Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Tony and this is CC's Outdoors, and today is the day. I think it's October 19th and we are gonna light the boiler. So we're getting temperatures in the, I don't know, mid 40s at night and 50s, scraping 60 during the day a couple times. So up until this point we've been using the mini split to heat the house with the heat pump, but that's expensive and it's just not the same. If you've ever been in a house with or a building that's got radiant floor heating, I don't know, the way it warms you is just a completely different animal altogether. But we're in the wood yard real quick because I need that. So that is a little bin of kindling that I've accumulated during the splitting process. I don't sell any kindling, but I do save a little bit because it's nice to have for this purpose when we're lighting the boiler, and also just in general. So if we have any trouble, if the boiler goes out, and we've got a little kindling to get it going. So sorry if I'm not kind of paying attention to you guys. I'm trying not to fall. I think it'd be kind of embarrassing as I cruise across the yard to trip and fall while I'm talking to the camera. So either way, we'll get the boiler or get over to the boiler and get situated, and then we'll talk about kind of how I start the central boiler Classic Edge 350. I first load up a bunch of kindling. The first little while is spent just building a coal bed and getting some ash built up in there. It's nice to have it clean so you can inspect it, but having it clean is kind of counterproductive as far as keeping the fire going. So without a coal bed, if you're not familiar with the way these central boiler, or even I think all gasification boilers work, is they smother the flame when you're not using it, and then when there's a demand they come back up from idle. But the problem without a coal bed or any kind of ash in there to insulate it is you don't have enough energy to bring the fire back up. So today I'm going to load a bunch of little stuff first. We'll get the fire going, and I'll probably burn up all this kindling. And this little bit of stuff will only last not too awful long, probably a couple hours, maybe, I don't know, 20-30 minutes, and then I'll have to load it up. And I've got kind of some punky, nasty looking stuff over here, and we're gonna burn all that stuff up too, just to get it going. I'm sure there's not much BTUs in there, but it'll be whatever is in there we're gonna use to warm up the water. So pump's still pumping. So I have not turned that pump off since last year. So I was asking around the YouTube community. Some guys do, some guys don't. So I thought maybe we'll just leave it running. I figured, what could it hurt? My system has 3 of that exact same pumps, and I have one on the shelf in there just in case it fails. But hopefully I've got another 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years of letting that thing rip before I got to worry about that. But so first thing we're gonna do is turn the power on, and we'll see what the water temperature is, and then we'll check the water level. So that's just that's the model Classic Edge 350. I don't know if you guys heard that or not, but the dampers just did their thing. So the door's open, so it won't tell me the firebox temperature, but the water temperature is 65. So next we need to come back here. This little guy here, all it is just a valve with a level tube on it, and we'll open it, and we are good. It says we're just below the full line, but that'll expand once we get up to temperature, so I'm not worried about that. So all I use is this weed torch that I got off of Amazon. That's full of stink bugs, but that won't last long. And it used to have an igniter, but after the first time I stuck it in the fire, the igniter doesn't work anymore. So I just use a torch sparker. It's just got one of these disposable camping tanks on it, and there you go. And then we just stick it down in the fire. Nice if I can get it propped someplace that I can. There we go. So then after that we got to come over here and hit the ignition air button, which right here on the front of the boiler. Hit that and the fan should start going, and it starts blowing air in the primary air charge. If you're not familiar with the gasification furnace, I guess we'll give it a quick walk over here. So this is a central boiler Classic Edge 350. The fire is on top. It forces the smoke down into the reaction chamber. That's the gasification. That's where the magic happens down there. and it reburns the smoke once it gets up to the right temperature. So I think at about 750, it turns on the secondary blower, puts more air into the reaction chamber, and then you get those huge, 15, 1600 degree temperatures. So right now, that temperature is probably not accurate. We can open the door and take a peek, see what the fire looks like. Yeah, I'd say that's probably more than 200 degrees. So as you can see, though, everything's kind of crumbling down. Boy, that was a pretty cool, epic-looking little view there. So move that down there. We've got some of this stuff that's kind of punky. I really don't. Some of it's damp to the touch. We had a pretty good dew, heavy dew last night. So it's a pretty good chunk of maple here, and throw that in there. Throw that chunk in there. All right, that's what we look like now. So we're gonna let that thing fire up for a little while. This is gonna be a good 20 minutes before we come back now. And now that we've got some good fire in there, and we'll talk about how everything's progressing. Okay, so we are about a half an hour in or so, maybe a little more. The water's at 148, and the fire is kind of hanging right around the 700 or 800 mark. It's kind of jumped up and down, but we'll take a peek inside, and we're burned down pretty good. So what I'm gonna do is, I don't know if you remember or not, but all these chunks underneath this little bit of mess here, if you remember back to when I was cutting down all that boiler wood to make bundles with, this is all the chunks that were left, and that stuff makes a really great coal bed. So I'm gonna load it up with that and put a few big pieces on top, and that's gonna be it for the fire. And then once we're up to temperature, we'll come back and turn everything on inside and make sure everything's working. So let's load some chunks. That's it. She's loaded up. Barring catastrophe, I won't open that again until before I go to bed tonight. We are probably a good hour and a half into this, and that's where we're at. So the water way overshot. We're at 192, which isn't the end of the world. And set point's 185, and the firebox is 325. So I think we just probably shut off. I can show you the water level. So you remember when I showed you in the beginning that we were a little low, but once everything warms up and it expands, hopefully you can see that. Yeah, you can see it. And now we're just above the full line. The stink bugs are out. It's like 60 already this morning, so it's like 10:30, something like that. And now we got to go in the house, and I'll set up the water heater first and make sure that that's all the valves are correct, and we'll turn that thermostat on, and we'll make it run and make sure that the zone controller is going to work like it's supposed to. And then we'll turn the house on, which unfortunately I don't think the heat's going to run. It's pretty nice out, the sun's shining, but I may just crank the heat up just a little bit just to make sure that all the solenoids and stuff are going to open up, but we'll do that in the house. So here we go. Stand by. We'll be there in a second. The priority zone is always the hot water, but before we can use that, I need to open that valve, and I need to open that valve up there, and then all the valves on the pumps are already open. This is hot, like really hot, and then I have to remember how to turn on the thermostat, which is always troubling. So let me see if I can figure this out. Okay, after I must have just turned it down. Maybe I couldn't figure out how to turn it off last year. That sounds about right. These are probably the most complicated thermostats I've ever been lucky enough to encounter. So the temperature's at 114 right now. So if I turn it up to 125, it should turn on. There it goes. Alright, so that pump just turned on. Hopefully you guys heard that click. The zone controller, that's the priority zone, zone number 1. So the hot water, domestic hot water is always first. You won't notice a couple degrees difference in the floor, but you definitely will notice if your shower is cold. Alright, so there you go. We overshot by 1 degree and everything turned off like it was supposed to, which is exciting. So now I'm gonna set you guys up to take a look at my solenoid bank here. These 6 are the house and these 3 are the garage. And if everything works right, and there's my mic, hopefully you guys can hear me. If everything goes as planned, when I turn the thermostat on, these will open. I'm not gonna mess with the garage right now because I have the garage door open because I'm out there doing stuff. It looks like I had that wrong. That looks like those 6 are the house and these 3 are the garage. See what happens in a few months of not using it? You see the little green indicator telling you that it comes up. Eventually the water pressure will pump it up. But I'll show you. There's the water temperature coming into the floor. So it's got a thermostatic mixing valve right here. And you don't want much more than 130 going into your floor. It'll warp all your woodwork and things like that. And then coming out of the floor, it is just over 70 degrees. I turn the thermostat back down and now the valves are closing. You can see that green ridge is slowly disappearing. The spring is pushing that valve closed and we're good to go. Hopefully you guys caught all that. I'm not sure. I might have had you in time lapse. If so, I voiced over it all so you could hear it. If not, this doesn't make any sense, but that's the beauty of being a content creator. Sometimes the cameras kind of have a mind of their own. But the heat's on. That's exciting because that'll make my wife happy. And you know the theory there, right? Happy wife, happy life. So that is where we're at. Outdoor boiler is lit. And this afternoon, I'm going to split some firewood. So got that pile of rounds way over there. And there's the woodhound. That is, I don't know if you see what's in her mouth, but she is literally a woodhound. Everywhere in the yard there's chunks of wood. If she can get her mouth on it, she steals it out of the piles, out of the stacks. It's kind of a pain, but it's okay. She's a good dog. Either way, so that's going to do it for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this, found this entertaining or informative, or maybe both. Maybe I nailed it and did it, you know, an okay job. But either way, I haven't split wood in like a month, or over a month probably. And I'm anxious to get out there and get some splitting done. So that's my plan this afternoon, is at least get a few Ranger loads split before a soccer game. We have another soccer game. Soccer is almost over. This is the last week of soccer. And then we are officially done with sports for a little while, so we can focus on some more firewood and deer hunting, like I said in the last video. And if you see over there, the woodshed's filled and built. If you haven't seen any of that, I'll throw the playlist for the woodshed in the back of this video right at the end screen. But I appreciate you guys taking the time and hanging out with me today. Hopefully you guys found this video entertaining enough to hit the like and subscribe. And come on back, we're gonna do some splitting. And have a good day. We'll talk to you later. Take care. Bye.